So welcome everybody. I'm always happy to do this kind of thing. I know that actually, to start off with, I think that Jean-Pierre actually has like the whole schedule on there. It says at the end of the day Q&A, but I'm myself, I'm a person, I cannot shut up when I ask a question. So I would actually advise you to do that too. If I'm talking about something you don't understand, or you just come up with this crazy idea of like, maybe that's a fantastic thing to do. Just raise your hand or stand up, shout at me, and I'll be happy to interact like that. So we're here today to talk about virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality, and to explain it a bit more. I would like to maybe gauge the crowd a bit, like how in terms of like of personality, because I already know that some of you are very shy because you keep sitting at the back. We actually are just telling these people in the front here that actually I arranged the seats so that the more you sit to the back, the less leg space you have. But clearly that wasn't brought out by the organization. Anyway, so these people at the front are clearly VIPs, they have more leg space, like on the airplane, but they didn't want to pay extra. So you can always come close if you want to. We have these sessions later on. The seats are not numbered, so
yeah,
in terms of gauging the people, the crowd, like, who of you is working in a technology environment, like as an IT or something like that? Can you raise your hand? Okay, so that's, in this case, a real minority. That's why there's so many women in the crowd. That's like an industry that's ruled by men. Who works in the events industry? So what about marketing? Few. So what about business development? That's you. The whole world. So yeah, so it's it seems like the majority seems like from event base. So okay, we have a bit of a mix. I like that. It will be interesting to talk to you people. So even during these demo sessions, I'll walk around and I'll tell you some insights on these technologies. Obviously, because in real life, I don't do this frequently. I do this frequently, actually, not every day. So I'm not a teacher, because I rather like to interact more on a personal level with people because it comes with fantastic ideas. To blow people like Jean-Pierre away because they never expect it. Without further ado, let's completely get into it. This is the hype, right? Because actually that's where we start, at the hype. Because VR, AR, all this stuff now is currently a hype. And you might say like, what? Yes, it is a hype. Because maybe not a lot of people know that, but in 1935 there was a science fiction writer. I think it was German or US. The name is Stanley Windbaum. Basically, he wrote a book and it actually described a goggles-based virtual reality system in 1935. So that's over 100 years ago. And so basically, from that idea, a lot of people obviously picked up the book, read it, and things evolved. Right? So, but in the 1950s and the 1960s, there was already people that were working on something called a sensorama, which was actually a sort of a display. It was a machine. You sat down in it with full immersive video screen, where it has smell, sound, you could touch stuff, things like that. So people were already at that time, in the 50s, thinking about how can we have people experience full virtual immersion. It's not until 1965 when Ivan Sutherland wrote a thesis about the ultimate display that they actually started working on something that was actually 1968, the Swirl Downloads. That was actually the name. I don't know why they named it like that. I didn't research that. Actually, I never heard about that. You know what? Oh, because of the construction. But that was actual first VR experience. Can you play this? There's a video actually. Oh, it's that was 1968. As you can see, it was quite a contraption. I think they had is like some sort of a camera on his head, and then he had like various speeds going through the video itself. Then basically in the 1970s up to 2000s, basically a lot of things happened, but mostly it was used for like NASA, for example, so very big government budgets for medical research, all these kind of things, flight simulators. In the 70s, they made some of these. In 1978, they did a very super cool installation, which was the Aspen movie. In the United States, you have Aspen, which is like a ski resort, basically, very famous ski resort. And in '78, they came up with the idea to make a virtual tour out of that. It was actually sponsored by the military. They wanted to see like if they would do a military campaign somewhere, they could get the soldiers up front, run through an environment and see how it looked like. So at that time, in 1978, you can imagine, still with Kelly fuel giant cameras. Actually, they actually went to these streets and took actual footage of all the streets and then built a computer-generated system to actually do that. That was really, really good. And it was actually the predecessor of Google Street View, which seemingly like died after '78 and then popped up its face again in 2000. In the 80s, there was a lot of stuff going on with video arcades. Mattel, the toy stores got involved. In the 90s, you had Sega that brought out a virtual reality device. And also in the 90s, some students came up with the cave projection, which is also virtual reality, which is basically a room, mostly of like 4x4 or where you have projection on the walls, on the floor, and you have goggles on that track how your head is moving, and it will immerse you in that space. Very nice setup, very expensive setup. Did any of you ever experience a cave setup? Into a projection cave? If you have the opportunity, you should actually do it because it's pretty weird. It's a bit like a holodeck. You know the holodeck from Star Trek. That's a cave base. So they've been doing that since the 1990s. But then actually lasted up till 2010 when this young guy in the US called Paul got lucky and actually came up with the idea of like, I'm going to build like a smaller version of that Sword of Damocles from 1965. I'm going to try to put it in a small device. And so he came up with the Oculus, and that's actually where the hype started. Yeah. 2010 when these guys started talking about it, and he showed his prototype in 2012 or something, which had basically very low resolution screens in there that you could the pixels were that size basically. It was really bad actually, but obviously there was a whole hype started there because people nowadays the PR companies they jump on this. It's like woo, new technology, right? So that was one of the first commercially available prototypes developed for physical photos. So that was 2012, 5 years later. Then obviously on this hype, all the companies went on. So Google then came out with their glasses, Google Glass, which was an AR device, which failed miserably, I can say. Any ideas why it failed? Come on. Shout it out. Yeah.
I think the word glass hole is probably what we're looking for.
Sorry?
Glass hole. People don't like being photographed all the time.
People don't like being photographed all the time. That's good. Yeah, good reason. There's lots of reasons for it, but I think what you say too is like it's basically social behavior, right? I mean, you don't just. I mean, were they actually expecting everybody to wear that? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, like. That, and I think that's and that's why I'm starting this presentation with these hype because these questions still not answered. We've got this whole revival again now of AR and VR, but still the question is like, how do you use this? Is this an application that everybody's going to jump on this or not, or is it just some temporary thing like the 3D television? Right? The 3D television is something else that actually. Has these sinus curves that it follows every extra 10 for 15 years it comes back again. It's also available since the 50s. And then, like, 10 years ago, suddenly all the manufacturers came on the market with 3D televisions. But then, were they actually expecting that everybody continuously wears these goggles in the house? I don't know. So it didn't really pick up. So that's why it stays a bit of a question. Like, and that's actually, I love that kind of stuff. Yeah? Like with social behavior, how can we actually change the public to actually, start wearing these goggles and these weird devices on your head because that's what they currently are? Is it going to pick up like an iPhone because that's what everybody's hoping? All the guys in Silicon Valley keep pouring money in and hoping that it will, take off, or is it going to explode into one of these 2,000 books and disappear? We'll see. So that's why my next slide is a bit like the difference between the forecast and what actually got sold in terms of numbers of devices in 2016. So everybody was like claiming 15, like, 2016 is going to be the year that VR goes, boom, there we go, right? Nah, didn't happen. So now we're in 2017, maybe this year, I don't know, we'll see. But as you can see, like, there's some of these predictions, and for example, Oculus Rift was bought by Facebook for $2 billion, right? So they must have thought that they were going to sell billions of these devices too, I assume. But as you can see, look, this is what they actually, the gray part is the forecasters, and the yellow is the actual sold devices. Yeah? So they have like 700 to 40. Not really. Yeah? HTC Vive, they were pretty close. I think mostly because they have the most robust system. Samsung here a lot. Why? Because it's an easy stepping, because it's cheap. People have a phone already. PlayStation, also not really very successful, to say the least. I think they actually, Sony, doesn't really get that much either, because they were very smart. They waited for the whole hype build up. And then I don't know if anybody followed that, but I had a very good laugh that morning when it was in the news that they launched it, because the whole build-up came and Oculus and then HTC came on, and it was like, and then they came on the market like $900 for a device without a computer. Whew. That's the not every average person is going to buy that, right? So and then Sony said like, by the way, we're also going to bring one out. It launches today. It costs $300. So they immediately slashed the price, and everybody had like, and you can use your HTC PlayStation. And so they kind of stole a bit of the market away from these guys. So of course they put high expectations. They didn't sell that, but I think they still did very well, because they even sold more than these two, who spent billions of dollars in marketing and PR. So I think Sony made a very well move that actually. As you see, there's a lot of devices, and a lot of this technology basically brings a lot of confusion. So the next part, I want to talk about the big confusion. What is this all about? What are all these different devices? We're going to go through a number of popular devices, because seriously, it's getting a complete mess out there. There's one new device launching every week. So we'll go with some of the different devices. So in terms of VR, AR technology, this is the four kind of categories that we made. There's probably more if you ask Microsoft. They invent new ones every week also. We have 360 video, we have virtual reality, augmented reality, and mixed or virtual reality, depending how where you come from. So we'll start off with the 360 video. In case I become too technical, please raise your hand or come and slap me in the face. Because I mean, people tend to tell me like, "Hey, shut up." 360-degree video is being shot by 360-degree video cameras, because a regular camera does not 360-degree view. So that's actually where actually most of the trouble in that field lies, actually, with these cameras. There's a few here pictured. This is the brand new Samsung VR, very cheap, and for end users, you can hold it, hold it around. And actually, Samsung is betting on the fact that everybody's going to use this, so everybody's going to make 360 videos, and then everybody's going to wear that, look at it with their goggles and the whole thing. Question is, again, if that's really going to happen, yes or no, we'll see about that. But it is a nifty device, and the quality is actually not that bad for being this small device, LCD device. The good thing also about it is that it actually comes out in one piece. So you shoot the video, and it comes out in one 360 video. While if you look at the more expensive models like this, with $35,000, $45,000 also from Nokia, this is a fantastic device. Although we did a shoot last week in an amusement park, we were going, one of these roller coasters in IMG World, and we weren't sure if we actually wanted to use that device because you see this small thing, it's actually standing on that. It's a ball about that big, and it's pretty heavy, right? And this roller coaster goes like that. So, and the price is a bit. So we decided to shoot with this GoPro ball in here, basically. Because I don't know. It seems like because of course this is made by a company that has no experience whatsoever in creating cameras, right? They make mobile phones, and now suddenly they think like, oh, let's get into that. Industry, let's do some 360 and virtual reality. So the promise of it is fantastic. I mean, like the footage of this is probably the best you can get for the moment. It actually also outputs immediately one 360 video, which is very nice to have. It's a bit weird that it actually does not have a camera at the back. It has like this thing sticking out, which has some of the, I don't know what it is. The fisheye lenses are wide enough to actually see the whole back, so you don't have a problem there. But it's just like the mounting is just like, I don't know, they mounted it for people like supposed to be on a, does it look like car or something maybe, side view. Another one here is this is something that Google developed. Yeah? It has like 16 cameras in it. Also very expensive, where you can actually download the blueprints of this and 3D print it yourself. And then you have a bunch of these, and this is one of them. But I mean, seriously, if you scour the web, you'll find hundreds of these different setups, up to 27, 30 devices all figured out like that. What's the cool thing about these is actually that you can start experimenting with it, and that also you can do stereoscopic better, because there is a big difference between monoscopic and stereoscopic, which is the technical terms of one eye and two eyes. Right? A normal video is monoscopic, but for 360, if you want to actually have a good result, you actually want to have two eyes. Because if you do a monoscopic 360 video, you do not have depth of field. So with that I mean, like normally when I'm here and I look there, I see behind the screen, right? In a monoscopic, you won't really have that because there's no 3D. It's too close. So, but in a stereoscope, you'll actually have that to get to one. So there's a little bit of difference there. I'll come back to that. So all these cameras, they're different setups. They have a lot of cameras, mostly, or a lot of lenses. And that takes us actually to why is this system time consuming? Why is it so expensive? Because I know, did anybody already ask for a quotation somewhere to create a 360 video? Anyone? No, nobody actually asked for a quotation yet? Okay, so don't be scared, but you'll sometimes get serious on it, depending on if they do it with this small VR device that has handheld, the Samsung one, or the Ozo, because of the rent of the camera, but then also because of this, which is like mostly the cheaper you go with the material. So if you have a rig with GoPros, you need to stitch it. Stitching is where the real work is. So basically you have all these different cameras and there's software that tries to piece together how it looks like. You see these lines here, they're like edges of these fisheye views that are being stitched together. And that takes a lot of time. So really a lot of time. And that's basically where the hourly rates come from. Like if you see that the editing is sometimes sky high, especially because it's moving video. If it's a picture, it's easy. But if people are moving it and they cross one of these intersecting lines, sometimes if it's not correct or they get too close to the camera, their legs get cut off. Or they suddenly disappear. I've seen some very cool 360 videos. Well, I mean, maybe not local, I thought I was standing up. where the person actually comes in front of the camera, suddenly disappears in midair, and then comes back out. Because he walked past the stitch. Because the problem is that the closer you walk to this camera, a lens has a fixed depth of field and a fixed length that you need to stay away from it. So if you come too close to it, and it's like this one here, actually, oh, yeah, well, yeah, demonstrate it. See, we're shooting this in 360 now, actually. The eyes are doing a good job. So, like now, I mean, we've got this whole room, but when I stand here now, I mean, it's just this part of my body, right? I'm blocking the whole thing now. This side will be blocking anymore. This piece of my shoulder. So if you have multiple of these, same thing. Yeah? So from here, just these cameras, they will all 3 see this. You won't see that anymore. Right? So if I actually I come here and I do that, it will be like I just I go at light speed past this camera because I'm so close to it. Right? But if I'm a bit back, then it will take longer because the camera sees me at a wider angle. And that's the issue that you have with these cameras with multiple lenses, because if you come too close, then it doesn't work. So if you shoot inside of the car, you need a different trick than you shoot outside of the car. So there's the whole science behind this whole thing. It can go on hours about that. But it basically is these stitch marks, and you'll see them if you next time when you see one of these 360 videos, try to look for them, for these breaks, mostly on the sides of screens or at the bottom where your feet are. And you'll see like the small lines, and when it moves, the lines will move against each other. Of course, content could also be generated. So, for example, something like that GoPro, which is not a video shot with a camera, but it's actually completely 3D made, which gives you a unlimited amount of possibilities, depending on how much budget you're going to spend. The more you want to spend, the more realistic this can look like. This was a regular animation. But still, it's like it's still a movie that you're looking around in. It's not fully immersive. You're standing there, the camera, you are the camera, you're standing there, your head is actually there, and you can look around in it, but you cannot move in that space, right? Because it's 360. So how do you use this? Mostly by, how it's being used now, a lot is mostly by a mobile phone. One of the famous first apps that came on the market was from Google. It was called Story. I don't know if any of you downloaded it. It's a nice concept, but it didn't really take off, I think. But the first movie they produced for it was, I can't remember the name, but it was about an alien. I think, what was the budget? $80 million, I think they spent to create this movie. It was fully CGI, so filmed in a green studio with a camera that was hanging from a crane from the ceiling, with very expensive red cameras. They custom made a rig with 6 cameras, and so all the actors were running around, but all the rig and everything was CGI later on. It was very lifelike. But actually, at that time, when I saw this first thing, then I actually came to the realization that, okay, the stitching and everything, the technicalities are very difficult. But what's even more difficult is actually the storytelling. Because actually, when you look at that movie, and so you watch the movie, with, you look through your mobile phone, and then you can look to all sides and say, oh, what's happening there? Oh, there's an alien that lands, okay, and goes over there, right? But I had to watch the movie 3 times before I actually understood what happened to the alien. The first time, I did not see it land. because I started the movie, and it's in a city, it's dark, and I was looking up, I was like, oh, sky, and then, oh, there's credits there. The credits were in the sky, which I luckily saw, while other people never saw that, because they were watching somewhere else, right? But then apparently when I was looking at the credits from the other side, this meteorite comes in. But what was happening behind my back, so I didn't see it. And so I turned around like, oh, there's an alien. Haha, alien, right? And then other stuff happens. People start running and you go, and you fall. But the thing is, it's a very difficult story to understand, because where do you look at it, right? And this is actually what we've been, as as a production company, what we've been, fighting with a lot is like video directors, because we have like this video director calls up and says like, hey, want to do a 360 movie? So, yes, but we have a problem. Where do we put the lights? You can't put lights, right? Because you see, yes, yeah, we understand that, but so we can put the lights outside if it's in a house. We put them outside of the windows and stuff like that. Okay. So where do I? Because I want to, direct these actors. Well, you can't be in the scene, right? Because I'm the director. Right? So there's this whole kind of rhetoric behind that. And then once they get to this, then they make a storyboard, and the storyboard is actually with a clear point of focus in the story, and that doesn't work. But we're so used to doing that. And again, it's one of these social behaviors. Are we going to be able to change that social behavior of people to, for years we've been used to when people want to tell us a story, we'll put it on the screen, and people watch it, and it goes through it, and you know where, because the camera is focusing on this subject. Now, making the movie about the screen, the camera will focus on the screen, right? But now it could be like, oh, the movie is about the screen, but then suddenly some guy walks in from there, and you're like, oh, what is he doing? And the whole message gets lost. So it needs a complete different way of storytelling, and that's very, very difficult. And we get that from all companies. You'll get that from all your clients. If you start doing this, they'll send you like a storyboard, like they are used to, which doesn't work at all. And that actually makes me wonder. One of these things, for example, is like cinemas. Yeah? So we have like regular cinemas, and then we had 3D cinemas, but not all cinemas will convert into 3D cinemas, obviously, right? But now I'm expecting that some cinemas will convert into virtual reality. So the question is, how's it going to work? Are you really going to have a 360? Because you're sitting in a seat like you are all now sitting, and one of these laid back sofas in the cinema, and suddenly something happens behind you. What are you going to do? The whole room is going to get up and like, oh no, oh man, you're going to break your neck. So the question is like, is that really useful, or should we not do 360, but maybe 190 degrees, which is actually human angle? That's what we see, 190 degrees. Maybe that's enough, which is really immersive already, right? Or maybe 220, so we can turn it like that. But the full 360, I'm sure that's actually bound to have a real future. Where can we store this? I mean, there's like YouTube, Vimeo, Facebook, they all support these 360 videos now. You can watch them with your mobile phone, or if they're stereoscopic, which means like two ones, you can watch them through one of these. I think we have like one of these, I think with the backpack there is that's a 360. Okay, so virtual reality is the next one. So virtual reality goes for the total immersion. Very important because it's not just the video, right? If you want to have total immersion, that means like everything. Like these guys with their sensoromas and I'm right? You want to have touch, you want to have hearing, you want to have all your senses there. The more senses you have, the more real you'll be immersed. It's mostly, at this time, it's mostly created in 3D. Why? Because then we can actually create an environment that we can move around. Because as I said, if we shoot it with this video, you're stuck in this one place where the camera is. Or it can be a mix of both. One of the demos there is actually a mix of both. So the environment outside of the vehicle is real world, shot with a camera. We call that like a sphere. You're stuck inside of the sphere, you can't get out of it. But from your point of view, everything is far away, so it looks like in the real world. And the model that you're sitting in is 3D model, so you actually have like a combination of both. Why do we model the 3D model? Because it's close by the camera and you can't film it actually. So you get this stitch. What else? It requires a headset, obviously, mostly heated these days. We're getting there. It's going to get wireless in the next couple of months. Okay. And so, as I said, we have all the sensory feedback. This is a small movie of a showcase on an event. A lot of you are from the event industry. You can obviously use this for all kinds of it. This was Caterpillar. I think this is actually the demo that we have there. So it was used to actually show how these new excavators, work, which is very cool because I've never been in one of these for real. Actually, my team has because they actually filmed, but I have never been. So there's this kind of situation. This is fully a real 360. So the VR, all these different devices. I'll take you to a few of these, to a bunch of them actually, to see what the difference is. Right? The first one is actually smartphone-based devices. That's the first category. Smartphone-based devices, they are the easiest as a setting because they are the cheapest, because everybody has a smartphone. And they are also supposed to be, as it says here, very theoretically brand agnostic. Right? Means like it should actually work on any phone you have. In reality, we see that's not true because every brand tries to couple up their, little bit of couple sales to kind of bind their users to their different devices. So it's here. One of the drawbacks of the smartphone basically is it only has 3 degrees of freedom. You might have seen that on specs or something like that. It's called 3DOF or 6DOF or more. What is that actually? It's the degrees of freedom. It's what actually the device tracks. So in a mobile phone, there's an accelerometer. The accelerometer tracks your head movement, but only tracks in 3 degrees of freedom. So it tracks the pitch, which is basically you move like that, the roll, and the yaw. No. You didn't know. And pitch. So, and that's the limitation of that. Which allows us to do a lot of things, which is perfect for 360 video, for example, because you can't move your head anyhow. So it's good. But we'll see later on that there's a 6DOF, which actually gives you way more possibilities. So some of the devices are the cheapest one of all was Google Cardboard. They actually made this, they added a lot to the hype. I'm sure everybody's seen that. Who of you have not used this? 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 9, 4, still 12. We don't have one here. But it's basically a cartoon version of the ones that you see there. It is very good for like giveaways on exhibitions and stuff like that. You can see on this slide how it actually works. You can actually send it to people flat packed, and then you put it yourself together. You put it together yourself with a few lenses and an elastical band and stuff like that. You can have these things printed, branded, so very cool for giveaways in stores or activations in malls, whatever. But obviously, you also need with tokens. You can give it away, but then it's wired, right? So most of these goes bubbled with an app that actually works with it, which actually sometimes has some issues because you have these devices now. I mean, the cardboard in different sizes and boxes and very nice packaging, but the offset of the lenses is sometimes different. So it doesn't necessarily that with your phone it will work very well. That's again where we come to this fact like, oh, no, it's supposed to be independent of each brand, but not anymore, not even for me, despite what everyone does. The next one is the Samsung Gear VR. Who of you owns a Samsung Gear VR? Raise your hand. Okay, that must be like the lowest value of that ever. So it seems like this hasn't penetrated Singapore that much. Yeah, good. I didn't know that. So yeah, I mean, like in the Mike example, it's very popular. Yeah. But I think they were actually at one time really giving it away. If you buy a Samsung phone, you get it on the year you order it. So a lot of people use it. This is the new version that just came out. I'm not sure it's actually not even available in Europe by now. But it has a controller with it, which is pretty cool. It's not really super, but it is definitely better than what we have now. You'll see when you try this on later on, you have like these buttons on the side, which are really annoying to use. So the controller makes that easy. And so is basically the Google Daydream, which is also brand new. We have it there too. And that has a controller like that, which works way better actually than the other one. But the drawback of this one is the battery. I mean, if you're playing a game or whatever on this device, within the hour, your battery will completely be dead. And if you're lucky, your remote keeps up. If not, it will drop out after 55 minutes. So the battery lifetime of this is really awful, actually. So in terms of events or whatever, it's pretty hard to use it at the time, at this time. Then the next category up again, so we go from the cardboard to the others, then we have like headed versus VR. Yes.
You have all received this actually in your bag. That's actually an older generation before your devices. The larger phones fit easily in it. When you have a smaller iPhone or smaller tool, you will have to have some extra material to fit it. But you can try it, and there is an app to read it. We will also release some app from our side for you to use on that device.
Yeah, so you all have like one of these previous ones. This is an independent one, so it's actually not supposed to be locked for brand. So again, as Jean-Pierre mentioned, depending on the size of your phone, depending on so the next thing is the tethered goggles. I must say, like, still tethered, because this is all going to change. Now, what is the cool thing about these things is basically, I mean, one of the drawbacks of the mobile-based system is the graphical processing power in your mobile device. And that's the example why the Google Daydream is draining the battery so fast, because it's very much based on the graphical GPU that they put in these phones, specifically for them. But the GPU is very, in that size, it's very battery intensive. So it drains all your battery before you do your game. These tethered goggles, they don't have that issue because they use a graphical card on a PC, right? But that's where the drawback comes down for your pockets is basically that, it's expensive because one of the devices is very more expensive, and then you need this PC, which nobody owns anymore now, like a big box with a GTX 1080 or 1070 card in there, which costs you $1,500, $2,000. Everybody now has an iMac or a MacBook or whatever, Surface or laptops, right? They can't run this up. Well, they can. That's a laptop there that runs actually virtual reality. You're there at that table later, lift it. I had to take it out of my luggage because it was too heavy. I had to carry it in my hand. I'm not kidding, actually. I came out of the airport, apparently you cannot carry 32 kilograms, 2 bags, only 1 bag. Nobody has told me that. So she said, like, you can take 30 kilograms, 2 bags. So I had to take something out. Obviously, I was like, this one laptop weighs at least 3 kilograms. So I took that out. I had to carry my body. It is 10 big. So not a lot of people have these in-house unless they're gamers. But that's actually where this whole issue comes from. Like, why were these tickets so low in 2016 of sales? Well, because of that. Because people were like, I'm not paying $2,500 just to try that out. I'll try it on my mobile phone. But it's a different experience. One of the biggest differences is this, again, this degrees of freedom. So this is 6DOS, right? So what is the big difference is that most of these devices, they have a tracking device, some system that actually allow you to see where your head is moving. So it has the same degrees of freedom as the previous one, but the difference is this one also will focus when you do this, right, or that. So it actually knows in space where you're moving it. So you're moving your static camera around. That's what it is. And that's what actually makes a lot of difference because it allows you to actually look around, look around an edge like that. Right? It previously was able because you want to do it like that. So behind that's it. Right? So that's the major difference. There's two main brands, like what we also saw in our three actually in the statistics. The first one is the Oculus Rift. I mean, we always go first with that because it was the first in the hype, obviously. It didn't turn out to be the best one. It's a bit weird, but anyway, it does have like integrated headphones, which is pretty okay because it adds to the immersion. Right? As I said, the more sensors you have, the better. But what is a bit of a drawback is the limited room scale. You'll see there in the corner we have an Oculus setup. There's a small device in front of it, which is actually, and that just tracks your head. But if you go too far away from it, you won't notice anymore where you are. It actually works like this, so it's infrared based, and it actually tracks these infrared dots on this device. But if something comes in between, it's loses, right? So to be good, you need way more of these sensors. We actually, in the office, we built multiplayer systems with the same technology, but then we actually wired a whole room with small cameras that all track everybody, that in case you go outside behind this thing here, that still another camera behind it will pick you up and will keep tracking. This is that sensor space, a small IR camera. So it's just an IR camera that just tracks the light. It also recently, a couple months ago, got some new controllers. Because that was also an issue before Oculus came out, they didn't have a controller, so all developers were using remotes of Nintendo Wii's and different types, whatever. But then they came up with their own controllers, which are way better. And they're really nice. They're on the table there. You can have a look at them up close. The next device is the HTC Vive, and this is our favorite. It is also the most expensive one. It may be less good. But it is definitely a way better experience. It's a bit heavier, but it does have a way better setup. The setup is here in this side of the corner. Put it here so you can have a look at it from there. Everybody really needs to do this because this is actually virtual reality at its best. So we actually managed to do an untethered setup. So normally you're connected to this wire. We got from one manufacturer, we got a backpack system with removable batteries. So you can hot swap them around. So they keep on going because obviously the battery just drains continuously. You keep charging. And it actually allows you to just plug it in your backpack so you can run everywhere without being wired up. So that's the future of in a couple of months, this will all change and you won't have to wear the backpack anymore. But now this is the best thing. And so this uses these two cameras. There's one here, and that one. This technology is called Lighthouse. Basically what it does, I think you have a video here. So as you can see, right? So you can actually span the whole room. So you're not confined anymore to that small IR camera that if you go way too far, whatever, they won't find anymore. They have actually two of these setups. You put them on either side of the room, so it'll be pretty big. And as long as they see each other, they keep scanning the room, and they'll find you. It actually works like this. This is a very slow motion version of that, like really slow motion. But actually the Lighthouse is really a Lighthouse infrared beam that keeps on floating through this room now, actually. Scans the whole area. Right? So you have this, it's a very intelligent system. They made it, especially it was brand new, while the other one resembled more what we have for years, like in the Xbox Kinect, these kind of infrared sensors. This is a way more intelligent system. You don't need to wire the whole room up. You just have two of these, they span the whole room. So it gives you this way more freedom to work. Obviously, depending on your living room. Another one, which is a very interesting one. There's a bunch more, as I said, coming on the market, but we picked out this one. It's called Quay. It's being released somewhere at the end of this month now. And the special thing about it, this has eye tracking built in. Why is eye tracking important? Again, because it's one of these sensors. Because, for example, you're in 3D in the virtual world. I'm talking to a virtual person that's standing here. There. His head will move. Right? It might move towards me because there's some tracking involved, but his eyes will never do that. Well, if I'm talking to you now, you're facing my eyes. I'm looking you in the eye, right? That you can only do if you track people's eyes. So this thing has that, and it creeps you out. That's why I like it. So they gave me a demo, and there were like 4 characters, just comical, cartoonish characters in the room, and 3 of them, and they were all following me when I was moving around, right? Their heads followed me, but one of them was looking me in the eye. It creeps you out. Super cool. And I'm sure that Facebook will love it because Facebook has this wild idea that they are actually going to create virtual social media. Good thing, did you guys see that, by the way? For those of you that haven't seen it, so actually Facebook imagines that you will actually go sit on a table, right, in virtual reality, talk to your friends in virtual reality, chat to each other, play games, whatever, the whole time with stuff in your face without actually doing it for real. I don't know, it's a bit weird, but obviously with this eye tracking, it becomes even more creepy actually. But I don't know, I think it's a bit far-fetched. I don't think that people will do that. You guys, who thinks that will work? Somebody raise their hand. Do you think it will work? Yeah? Yeah, for certain applications, but I mean, for Facebook. No, yeah, well then you can just Skype them, right? And or maybe with a hole into a whole conversation. But these characters that I don't know, it's a bit weird. The other thing that actually, I mean, like this creepy effect, that's one thing. But what it actually is very interesting for is one of the problems also is depth of field. So, and that actually solves when I go back into the storytelling. Yeah? The storytelling of actually having people focus on an item. Yeah? Also works with depth of field. A lot of times, depth of field, not everybody's familiar with it. It is this effect that when you take a picture from something close up, that the thing close up will be in focus, while the rest will be very blurry in the background. That's called depth of focus. Up till now, all these AR cameras, whatever, they don't want that. They don't have that. Why? It's very hard to stitch, right? And all these things, so you don't want that. But it does actually help you if you would tell a story and you're sitting in this 360 sphere or whatever, then it will actually change the focus because your eyes will immediately drift off to where the focus is. So that will actually help. Also, it will help you to get way more realistic environments because actually in reality too, your eyes, what's here is way more blurry than it's there. So this depth of field that can also be done with iPad. That's also very nice. And then obviously there's the Sony VR, which is the cheapest one of them basically. Comes with these very funny tracks, very playful, but they really work. There's nothing really bad or super good about it. And the cool thing is they work with your PlayStation 4, which I think is quite accessible a bunch without actually making a lot of noise about it. Then this is the last one. So I said there's a bunch of them coming, but actually what is important for a lot of you, I think also, because in the corporate world, we get a lot of requests from like airlines and whatever, just, can we have virtual reality in first class, for example, or just everywhere? I'm all for that, right? Imagine you go in the plane, you sit down, you put this thing on your own island, take it away, man, right? That is the ultimate dream of aircraft, in my opinion. But if you do that with the devices on the market now, I mean, honestly, they are toys. Yeah? I mean, and it's not for public, it's not for the permanent installation. It's on airplanes. We used all of these devices on events previously. Even though the HoloLens, which is this brand new Microsoft device, we broke 2 of them in a week time on an event. Yeah? It's a $5,000 device. Because it's not made for that. It's developer edition. It's toys. It's not really for. So there is a few companies that are actually, so HTC is actually going into that realm now. Also because they understand, like for education, training centers, and there's a whole bunch of industries where you can sell these, but obviously these guys, in this industrial zone, they will all this plastic crap lying around, so don't break this. There's a company called Sensix, they also into this stuff. And this is actually Sensix model, so actually they make a goggle that actually has replaceable parts. It comes with parts, so one thing breaks, you can fix it. It's more durable. You can easily clean it. You can change the rubber, so it's some material that really works. You can build into existing helmets and stuff like that. So that's actually what these guys are working with. I think this is an industry that will flourish a lot. They're very hard to get because it's very new. But if you have one of these projects, come talk to us, we'll guide you to the right thing. Then we have augmented reality. Augmented reality does not necessarily need to be obviously used with goggles. And there's a few different types of augmented reality. I'll go into this a bit. It's too technical, so you have. First way of augmented reality is actually marker-based. Most of you have seen that. We've got a demo of that there on the table. Basically, it's a print or it's an image. You hold your camera from your mobile device, and it actually recognizes the marker as a 3D object or the video, whatever will appear in that space. If you lose the marker, it will stop showing. market-based. That has been around for years, by the way. It's not new at all. Again, the AR story is like it had about 10 years ago, 15 years ago maybe, Flash. I don't know if you guys remember Flash. Online is moving stuff on your web browser, like trying to get killed by Steve Jobs. They have this functionality, so it actually got some traction there, some applications, everybody liked it, but then it kind of disappeared again. And then 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, maybe suddenly there was this whole revival again, like, whoa, augmented reality. And it was actually because mobile phones at that time became fast enough, I mean the processing in the mobile phone became fast enough to do that on the fly. So that's why this whole revival came up. Then kind of died away again a bit, but now we see another revival again. It's more to do with the next technology. This is another one. It's actually inverse market-based AR, which is very good for events, for marketing or for activations. People just love this. There's that screen there is actually a demo of that. And basically the difference is that instead of you holding the device, you hold the market. For people, if you put that on the outside of an exhibition stand, or if you put it in a mall somewhere for an activation, the outside you have these markets, people can pick them up. You'll have like tons of selfies. Because multiple people can stand there with this screen. You have your whole 3D stuff. They take selfies. They just love it. This is one of the best activations we actually do, and it's pretty easy to implement. It all depends a bit on the content that you put in. If you get good content, then it's good. The marketless AR, that is actually what's bringing this new revival. And there's a few things about it. There's this very technical thing called simultaneous localization mapping, or SLAM, which is a technology actually that allows you not to use a market, but still, use an object as a track. What it actually does in technical terms is actually like this Ferrari here. It will actually, you input upfront how the Ferrari looks like, and you will actually look for the device. Once it finds it, it will make a small map of points. When you turn the camera, it will kind of track these points. So it will actually do some sort of 3D mapping. And why is that getting this whole hype now? Because there's projects like Project Tango from Google, a bunch of other devices. Everybody is kind of expecting that the new iPhone will have more cameras. The more cameras you have 2 cameras at a slight angle, or you have a 3D sensor or whatever, this is way easier to do because it's easier to spot these spots, the pixel spots, and then basically move around to the tracking point. That's why there's a bit of traction now in this technology. It's marketless AR. Very cool for shows like like with cars, whatever, or virtual statues, for example. You have like a marker on the floor, you see it, but then you can actually go up close and walk around the statue without actually having the marker still in view of the camera. And then there is location-based, which is another one that's giving it traction now. And that is basically GPS-based or iBeacon-based. You guys still remember iBeacons? Who knows an iBeacon? Anyone? All of people. So iBeacons, a couple of years ago, Apple suddenly came up with like, hey, iBeacons. Basically, it's a small sensor that works on low energy Bluetooth. So the Bluetooth sensor of your phone. And when you come in the vicinity of it, it will recognize it. And it will send you a message if you have an app that does that. And so you can actually also use this for location tracking inside of malls, inside where the GPS doesn't really work, and use these beacons. Now, why didn't that take off years ago when Apple introduced that? Because nobody was using Bluetooth at the time. Right? Because you remember Bluetooth was the service that everybody turns off because otherwise the battery drains within 2 hours. But now these days, one, the new Bluetooth standard doesn't do that anymore. And 2, also, there's so many connected devices. You have your car, you have a speaker at home, I'm pretty sure, Bluetooth speaker. So everybody now, and also since, what is it, I think iPhone 6 or 7, I can't remember. Suddenly, Apple actually decided to make the Bluetooth service on standard on when you bought it. Previously it was off. You had to turn it on. So it's all switched. So now actually there's way more people in the world that actually have this Bluetooth on. So suddenly there's a bit of a revival coming now with IP. So you'll see that, some companies will start asking about, like, can we do a location, location tracking or AR tracking, whatever, with the beacon. So the location-based AR is based on GPS when it's outside. It's used a lot, like in the tourism sector or whatever, or to actually see, you know, you walk through the street and there's things that pop up. Basically, it's nowhere. It doesn't know how the street is. It just knows, like, on that GPS coordinate, I will show this message. That's what it does. And with the beacons, it works the same thing. The beacons triangulate where you walk inside the mall, and it will show you, you know, that's there. That's there. Another one of the things actually, this was also Pokemon Go that kind of brought this whole revival of AR there, while actually Pokemon Go was doing that, and it wasn't new at all actually. Give you an example of augmented reality. This, for example, is something we did 2-3 years ago. This was a stand was completely augmented reality. So before the event, the people got sent an email to download an app. The app had an invitation, what you saw in the beginning of the movie. So you would download the app, and the character would jump out of your screen, invite you to the stand, and then when you came on the stand, there was some communication beforehand. You could download your packages, and on the stand, anything was actually AR. So the logos of the wall would fall out, show you stuff, windows open up, the doors open, all kinds of things happen. You had like a wall with these small dots that you had to search for and see what information was in there about different subjects. Games to actually, you know, teach you educational games to teach you things. The reverse AR again too, that we have over there. So a full AR experience basically on that was 2 or 3 years ago. That's very possible now, and actually even better now, because at that time we had a lot of devices on the exhibition stand, so people could get one and, you know, envision it, because some phones at that time were still a bit slow in doing it. While now everybody has a phone to do it. The next thing then is instead of your mobile phone, is actually using glasses. Now this is, in my opinion, the most comical part of the presentation. We'll show you a few of these glasses that goggles are actually on the market for sale now. We have one of them over there, which is the first one I'll start with. So there's different brands. All of them, as it says, they are Android-based, so you create apps for them basically to do it. What most of these do not have, or well, actually all of them do not have, is actually this location awareness. So the 3 degrees of freedom comes from the Android device in there. So it has an accelerometer, but for the rest it doesn't have anything. So it's not location aware. The AR it shows is just like plain stuff flying in there. It will not be pushed out of the way because there's a chair. This is the first one that came out on the market. Very low numbers. Sony, I have no idea why they did this actually. They sent us one in the hope that we'll do something with it. That's why I have it, because I would have never bought this device. It is monochrome. Yeah? That means, like, I don't know if you remember these old movies where they have like these CRT screens with green text on it. That's what it is, but in glasses. Green only. Right? We turned them on and we were just like, something's wrong with this. And now we read the thing, I was like, green monochrome. Or you must be kidding. So yeah, so they actually built a pair of AR goggles only with green. It seemed like, you know, it seemed like something from 1980s science fiction movie, actually, to be honest. It has this small control. The cool thing is actually it's pretty small, and the electronics are in this small control that's hanging from it, which has an Android operating system. But again, it's pretty weird because, you know, you need to press buttons on this, or I don't know where you want to click it, but you need to press stuff on it and start turning to change your view. Really weird stuff. Then we have this, which is now pretty recent. Epson brought out this thing. So, and, you know, mind the brands, and mind how really everybody is now jumping on the bandwagon. Epson starts making glasses. So this is one same principle basically. This actually has full colors, but the funny thing about all of these ARs, and this one fits all of them, is the field of view. So the difference is with virtual reality, you're immersed either with a Samsung VR, your field of view is almost everything, so you see this, right? With all these AR glasses, it's like that. Right? So everything that's behind your field of view is not AR. So if you're looking at something AR that is the size of that chandelier, from here I'm going to have a problem with 20 degrees. I won't see it the whole thing. I only see that part. So I need to, and you'll see that when you try the HoloLens. HoloLens is a very cool device, but you'll see also the point of the field of view of that one is also really small. And you'll see what the limitations are. But 23 degrees is really quite small. So it has some applications, but it's really, and the price tag $850. Come on, guys. Euros. Then there is this one. Obviously, all these companies, they understand that, okay, people, I mean, some of them understand, but the previous one was a consumer model, but then there is some smart guys in the company, and they go like, people are not going to wear that, are they? But then they say, okay, but for industrial or for commercial applications, maybe there is something. And there is. We'll show you later in the day some commercial applications of these devices. But so they say like, okay, let's make one that is robust, dust-proof, waterproof, all these things. But then you come up with these kind of Terminator vision kind of things like you can beam somebody to death with an X-ray. But it's definitely better. It has a 4-hour hot-swappable battery. So it is, but look at the price tag, $2,300. That's steep, right? So if you need to fit out the whole warehouse with 3,000 people working at that price, that's going to cost. So, yeah. Physics, I love this one. This is right out of some James Bond movie, right? One eye. It's a bit like the theory of, I think they had some designer from Google Glass or something in house, and he said like this builder. People love this one glass. It has some features like noise cancelling microphones. That's cool. So this one has like built-in sound. Price is compared to the other one pretty okay, but again look at the field of view, 20 degrees. Plus it only has one eye, which actually means you won't have stereoscopic field of view. So it will be, and also when you close one eye, you won't see it. Another one from physics, same kind of thing, but it's not announced yet. This has a better processor built in. ODG, Osterhout Design Group, very famous companies. Not a lot of people know them, but they've been around for years and years. They invent electronics that are mostly super cool, or use them OEM-wise inside of cameras and all kinds of stuff. They decided to bring out their own goggles. They've had the R7 out now for a year or something like that. It cost that price tag $2,750, which is very steep because the device is not really responsive at all. Now they showcased at CES in the US, they showcased the R9, which is a really cool device, and which is definitely worth that one if they're going to sell it for that. I mean, for us anyway. But it's still not out. They actually said they would launch it beginning of the year. It's moved now to July. We'll see what happens with it. Some people might have seen this in a commercial of Mini, the car brand, BMW Mini, that they used this a couple of times. It has a 30-degree field of view, which is more than the others. But it's a pretty cool device because it actually resembles real sunglasses, not that far from. So you don't really look like a complete dork when you have it on. This is the opposite thing, right? It looks like, I don't know, some diver is going to wear it. Although I'm pretty sure it's not waterproof. So this ATF. ATF also is one of the companies that plays in the AR field. They have a bunch of goggles. This one is $3,950. Pretty cool. Why is it more expensive? They claim it's because it actually has head tracking. It actually has a camera and stuff like that. They have some rather cool technology built in, just like these guys, Daiquiri. At here, Daiquiri, they're competitors. So they, for example, they have heat sensing cameras and stuff like that built in. So really made for industrial use. When people actually, you walk around in a factory, oh, that pipe is hot, don't touch it. Daiquiri actually, they made a helmet. We'll come to that later. But they said, now, no, let's cut off the helmet, let's make a pair of glasses. $5,000. I think it's very expensive. Limited field of view, 37. Going up, it's not getting there. 37 is probably the same like you take this iPad here. 37 is probably, you take this iPad and you look like that. That's actually, in that zone you'll have AR sitting outside of it. Right? That's not AR. So we're getting there, but it's very early. And that's why I personally think that this whole AR thing is a hype of the craze is going to die down a bit. And then maybe in a couple of years, somebody will come up with when it actually fits in these glasses. If it fits in these glasses, I'll wear it. You too, right? But for these things, but obviously for anything, events, you need to create a craze, you need to create some hype, all this stuff, it all works. Yeah? Because people love gadgets, they love this stuff, you just need to get the right application. Mixed reality is the final one. So mixed reality is a term coined by Microsoft. Why? Because they actually made a pair of augmented reality glasses, but they wanted to differentiate it from the rest, because it was way more easy. That's my guess. I don't know why, but so I mean this thing between mixed or merged, because other companies call it merged. They don't want to associate with Microsoft coming in. The difference is basically is that it's actually just regular augmented reality like all the other glasses, but it has a tracker building, which is actually based on the Xbox Kinect. Who does not know the Xbox Kinect? Everybody knows Xbox Kinect, right? So Xbox Kinect is a device that actually tracks the environment with infrared scanning, but then with small dots that kind of like a mirrored ball that goes up in the room. And it looks at when all these reflections that come back from walls and from people, it knows how, or it creates like a 3D environment of the room. That's how it's able to track 3D objects while they're there, while they're moving. And they build that into this device. Actually, when you see these two cameras, it's actually just two built into that. So it kind of allows you to do AR but mixed with the reality, because when I'm looking here, the HoloLens knows where the phone is. It knows where that camera is, it knows where the screen is. So when you actually take a 3D object or a menu, something in front of you, and you walk through the wall, it will not go through the wall. Well, with the other AR glasses, this AR level of the AR layer that you have is a fixed layer. It will show the AR here. If the AR is here, and I walk through the screen, this thing goes behind it because it doesn't know the screen is, and I can't see the layer anymore because it's at that depth from my eyes. With the other one, the mixed reality, you'll actually notice it will kind of go back when it can't anymore, then it will disappear. So it actually knows your environment. And that's why they call it mixed reality, because it's a mix between your real environment and the virtual world. This is a video. So this is one of the samples that Microsoft uses, like you see engines, you see parts engines. And this is actually how, this is how the positional system creates the room. So you see that it looks like it's in the real world. One of the cool things is actually if you have an Xbox Kinect at home and you have a video camera or a phone that does night vision, you should do that because really it looks like somebody shot like a holster in your whole living room. It's pretty fun. So this is one of these videos. So you'll see we have the HoloLens there in the corner. You'll see that it's not that real. Yeah? It is holograms. It's semi-transparent. It's not that super stable. It kind of moves a little bit here and there. But it does give you a view of the future. And it's the first time actually with all these AR glasses, couldn't really entice me. When you see the HoloLens and you see what that does, you kind of see how the future will be when they are able to miniaturize that technology and put it in regular glasses or in lenses or whatever. That is really the future. But in terms of using it now for applications, it is really a developer device. There's a number of applications, devices from different brands coming on the market in the next 6 months actually, which will allow you to use the same technology, which will be, I think, more robust than the HoloLens, because the HoloLens is really a fidgety device. It's great to be fast. In the same category, we have this daiquiri helmet. So these guys said like we're going to go completely for the industrial market. We'll make a safety helmet with like a HoloLens device below it. which has a bunch of cameras. It's $15,000 for one helmet. Some, well, big corporations, some of them are actually working with it, experimenting with it, but I'm pretty sure they'll have to drop the price to $15 if they actually really want to sell this. Because if you are an ExxonMobil and you have like, thousands and thousands of workers around the world, you want to all fit them out with a helmet like that, that's not going to work. So it is, but it has obviously has a lot of potential, this thing, because you'll see later that actually in the industry there's a lot of applications for AR. So this really has, it's a very good idea, but I think at the price tag now, where we are, again, also the field of view, 37 degrees, it's a bit on the low side. It's actually how it works. They did actually come, I talked to the guys quite often, they actually came up with this modular system, so you can actually replace parts. But what they actually up till now failed to do is actually get these helmets, these rated IP rated. So it's actually allowed for HSE, so health and safety, to actually be used in an environment, in a construction environment. So they still did not get the IP rating for the helmets. It's a bit of a and then obviously I talked before, another one is Project Tango from Google. There's one phone now on the market from Lenovo that actually has already built it. And so they are actually doing also the same kind of technology. So it's aware because of the multi-cameras, it does this SLAM technology, it tracks the environment, and it can show 3D in the right location. So there's one phone actually on the market now that happens. Because that's one of the limitations now, right? I mean, there's so many phones already in there. So now to change this whole environment again, you need new phones, which will have a smaller penetration than it used to have. Everybody already has a smartphone. So the question is, of course, what is Apple doing? What is really? I mean, the hype is going around that now. What are they doing? I mean, they keep saying like, oh, we are testing on it in reality. Yes, but what exactly? I mean, how is it going to look like? Are they actually going to come up with the first real wearable glasses that look decent? I'll quickly go to a few general concepts. These are a few general concepts which I touched on maybe, and a small bit of background on it. Through immersion, I said in the beginning, but I thought it was a very nice graphic. I pulled it from the website, but I thought it was very good. It actually shows you how you get to total immersion. I mean, like, it's not only the visual, the quality. I mean, the less pixels you see, the higher the resolution is, the better it will be. But it's also, 3D sound. Yeah? Like this camera actually does that. Actually records already 3D sound. But there's different devices to do that. And obviously these interactions that are like, we have the haptic station there. There's a few of these haptic. That is really super emerging market now. And all these demos are already, you'll say like, is that it? Yes, exactly. That's where we are at now. But this is actually, I know that intuitive interaction is something that actually needs a lot of work to get to this full immersion. What's also important is the latency. Why is there wired speed, not only for the graphical power, but also for the latency? So there's wireless systems coming on the market for VR, but one of the things that they're struggling with is the latency. The latency is actually how long it takes for your eye to see the screen, to see the movement on the screen. So if it's below 20 milliseconds, it will be okay. But if you're sending stuff wirelessly, it can actually take a lot of data and you need to push that to the wire, and it's very hard to get it below. So they're working on that. There's a few solutions, but let's see what we can do. Frame rate is very important. If you buy a device, always look at how much frame rate you can do. If you have low, and that's why also it seems on a phone. A lot of times in the Samsung VR, when you use this later today, try moving your head very fast. You'll see that it all goes a bit like it's like a bit of a stroboscopic robot dance going on. And that's because of the frame rate of these mobile phones is not fast. While all these tethered ones, they have frame rates of 90 frames per second and up. And that means that when you move your head, the frame rate is so fast that you don't see these. That actually gives you a way better experience. Field of view, I think we have enough about that here. It's like how wide. So I mean, like you need like 190 is basic. I mean, our field of view as a person is 190 horizontal, 120 vertical. Right? If you can mimic that, then you actually have total vertical. This is like one of these ambisonic audio devices, so you see they come up with very weird microphones nowadays. But it's very, very important, especially also for storytelling, because if you already have a story in a 360 environment, and you want people to actually look when somebody is coming in, right, and the door opens and closes behind you, then the sound also comes from there. Because if the sound just comes from anywhere, you won't have the notion of, oh, somebody coming in. So that again helps with the storytelling. Eye tracking, I talked about that before. And then there's light field technology. Who heard of light field technology? It was actually, this is very, very interesting technology, and in our opinion, this is going to actually rule the market in the next couple of years. So the difference is now every camera that we have has a sensor that just actually takes an image that it sees. A light field camera has like an array of sensors, and these sensors actually they capture the intensity of light. So they actually, the light comes in from different angles, and they capture that, and in doing that, and recording that data, they can later, after the recording was made, they can actually change the depth of field. They can calculate differences in depth of field in this image, or they can even change the focal view of it. So you can actually calculate the 3D eyes with one image. So normally you should now, if you want the 3D stereoscope, you should use two cameras. With this you can shoot with one, and you can calculate the one because you actually have so much information that you slightly can move the picture in post-production. And that's a very interesting technology. And actually this morning in the news, there was actually some guys left there from Lightfield, and they started a new company. They're going to build a light field television set. So that will actually mean that will be a better version of no goggles or no glasses 3D TV. So I'm very excited to see that, but probably 3 years away is what they said. But that might, again, that definitely is going to bring on this new vibe, hype about 3D TVs, I'm sure. So let's see how that works. This is a concept that these guys are making. It's not available yet. There's prices going on the market of $80,000 for one device. This is a light field camera for 360-degree video. They've got a bunch of movies on YouTube, you'll find them, but nobody actually knows when the device is going to go on the market. This is a very, very interesting technology. So as you can see here, that's like in post-production, they just change the focal. And obviously, all the ham gesture tracking stuff, all these things will come out. This is a motion leap, which is also a really new device. We have it there in that the Oculus setup. So the cool thing is with that actually, you have the goggles on, and you can see your hand in real time. Well, not in real time, in real time, but only in virtual reality. So it's like a glove that you're wearing. You see your own hand, so you don't need any of these. And that's actually where a lot of the devices are going now. We're trying to build that in. Because obviously, okay, it's nice, all these devices, but in the end, you still need to use it. They're all different. There's a whole learning curve. It's not really easy. For that, for example, for the first iteration we did with that, we created the demo there. We have a virtual reality microscope. So you see your own hands there. But it's definitely worth a try, everybody. Just actually the notion of just seeing your fingers and so active, you're like, whoa. And obviously body and gesture tracking. So this is again something that a lot of companies are working on now to get them to have feedback to get full body immersion. We are doing multiplayer, but in our multiplayer setup, every player in the game is like a small robot flying in the air because we cannot track the full body and place that into the full. For that, we need like a green key studio, and I mean, we have a studio in Belgium that but it's very difficult to do it now. And it would be actually very nice if you do that in arcades, at your house, you can play games, if you actually see each other standing there with guns.